Okay, so the question I want to talk about today is client comes up to you and says, I want to build muscle faster, I want better recovery, I want to have better workouts, and I've been reading about glutamine. Um, do you think glutamine supplementation will help me have better workouts? So first, it's important to know what glutamine is. Glutamine is an amino acid. Amino acids are building blocks of proteins, right? And proteins have a lot of functions in our body. They help with protein synthesis, they help with cell structure, they help with cell function, they help with transportation in our body. So proteins have a lot of functions in our body. Now, glutamine is non-essential, which means our body produces it naturally. We don't have to get it from food or supplementation. Next, we need to know what glutamine does. In most of the academic journal articles, glutamine is linked to two benefits in our body. One is immune function, and one is wound healing. When we're really sick, glutamine levels in our body decrease significantly because they help with our immune system. It helps with our immune system, and so they actually recommend taking glutamine when you're really sick. The other time they recommend you taking glutamine is anytime you have you need wound healing. There was a study by Blass et al. That showed that glutamine was shown to significantly decrease wound healing times in trauma patients. So how did we get to bodybuilders saying we need to use glutamine? Well, there's a few benefits they believe glutamine helps with when it comes to exercise. The first benefit is that glutamine helps with energy during exercise. So if we take glutamine, we can exercise longer, and we will have a better exercise because we'll be able to fatigue later in our exercise. And so in a study by Hobb et al., they chose 10 cyclists, and half of them were given glutamine supplementation, half of them were not. The glutamine supplementation was 0.03 grams per kilogram, which isn't very much. They had 5 trials on the bike. The first 4 trials were a minute, and they had a minute break in between each trial. The last trial, they just went until fatigue. There was no difference in time to fatigue between the control group and the glutamine supplementation group. Now, there's a few flaws in this study. One is that they only had 10 participants, which isn't very many. Another is that the glutamine supplementation was pretty low, so it's possible that you just need more glutamine. Another flaw is that it's possible that glutamine takes a little bit longer before you see the benefits of it. I know in researching, creatine supplementation in the past, most studies suggest that creatine supplementation, it takes like a few weeks to see benefits, and that's daily dosage. So it's possible that you just don't see the benefits of glutamine after one dose one day. Now, most studies have shown similar results, but there is a study that shows that glutamine supplementation can increase our muscle glycogen wreath synthesis after exhaustive exercise. It's a study by Botel et al., and they gave their participants either 8 grams of glutamine and a glucose polymer, or just a glucose polymer, or just glutamine. And the group that received the glucose polymer and the glutamine had the best protein resynthesis after exhaustive exercise. So it's possible that if we take glutamine in the following exercise bouts that we have, we'll be able to have a better exercise because we have more glycogen in our muscles. The second theory is that because of amino acids help with muscle protein synthesis, that if we take glutamine, it helps build more muscle. In a study by Kando et al., there were 40 subjects that were half were given glutamine supplementation, half were not. The glutamine supplementation group received 0.9 grams per kilogram of glutamine, which is a pretty high amount. Strength was assessed doing a 1 rep max bench press and squat at the beginning of the study and at the end of the study. And in between the study, which was 6 weeks, every participant did the exact same workout routine, and it was supervised. At the end of the study, we saw no benefit in strength gains between the two groups. We also saw no difference in protein breakdown during exercise bouts. So one claim is that glutamine will help reduce protein loss and protein breakdown, and this study showed that that's not true. The last claim that people have is that glutamine helps with reduce muscle soreness, since it's been attributed that it helps with healing. It helps heal our muscles faster, we feel less sore, we're ready for another workout the next day. So first, there's kind of debate about what causes muscle soreness. So for a long time they thought it was lactic acid, but it's been shown that lactic acid actually leaves the muscles after an hour or two. So we know that that's not the cause of muscle soreness, because a lot of times we're not sore until the next day. We do know that creatine kinase has been used as a marker for muscle soreness, but there's two kind of different theories that I've read. One is that it's just muscle damage. We damage our muscle during exercise. Because we've damaged them, now we have edema, we have inflammation, and we just feel sore, it hurts. Another thought is that it's actually just neurological. And so it's possible that there's no necessarily physical reason why we're sore, it's just a neurological reason. And this has been attributed to a study by Starbeck et al., where they showed neurological benefits from crosstalk, but there were also neurological soreness after repeated bout exercise. So that's actually a really interesting article if you ever want to read that, about possibly one reason why we get sore. But in talking about muscle soreness, there was a study by Street et al. In which 15 participants were chosen. One group was given a control of maltodextrin, one group was given a supplementation of glutamine at 0.3 grams per kilogram, which ended up being about 26 grams per day. This is a pretty average glutamine supplementation. It's a pretty good amount. This is what most studies are showing. In the first day, for the exercise bout, they did 100 drop jumps, and in the first day, there was no difference between soreness in the two groups within the first 24 hours. However, there was significantly less soreness at the 96-hour mark in the group that had supplementation of glutamine versus the group that did not. There was another study that showed that glutamine may help reduce the creatine kinase levels after exercise, but in the supplementation, they had one group take proteins, fats, carbs, and glutamine, and one group just take carbs. So it's really hard to know whether it was the glutamine that really helped with the creatine kinase levels. So are there any negative effects to taking glutamine? There's really not. Most studies show that glutamine is pretty safe to take as a supplement, as long as it's in a moderate amount each day. And most studies show that anything under 40 grams per day, you're probably okay. That's just kind of a mild guideline that's been thrown out there. But there's no upper limit on glutamine, so it's hard to know for sure. In summary, if you want to take glutamine, I don't know that there's any danger necessarily in taking it. There's mixed results on the positive sides of taking glutamine, but it's possible that it could help you have more endurance, and it's possible that it could reduce soreness. So it could help your exercise in those ways. If you're looking to build muscle, it's not going to help. But I would just make sure I'm taking it in moderate amounts, similar to the amounts that were taken in the studies, so that there's no negative effects.